For an embarrassing amount of years, I thought the line in the Christmas song went, "Then one soggy Christmas Eve," not "then one foggy." Hey everyone, Kyle from Cosplays from Trash here. Thank you to all my patrons over at Patreon, especially for the last couple months. I was a little late with the Slave Leia. I'm always trying new things, and one of the Trash After Dark photo shoots, wink, was Hut Slayer Leia with Jabba the Hutt. And based on a poll, I made I made Ryan be Jabba. That's funny. As of recording, next month we're like neck and neck with Energizer Bunny versus Tuxedo Mask for the Trash After Dark, wink, photo shoot. And today we're going to be talking about how I made Nightwing. Really just how I made the Escrima sticks. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, or I will cry. I'm just kidding, I won't cry. It just helps the channel grow. Cool part about cosplay is it's still considered cosplay even if you make none of the costume, or if you make 100% of it. I mean, cosplay is cosplay. I was looking to get one of those skin stretch suits or spandex suits or whatever. And thankfully, I did eventually buy a nicer one because the one I initially bought was just bleh. What I did make for that costume was the Escrima sticks from Trash.
So here's what our eczema sticks look like. This is one of those boring pieces of trash that I found. I got a lot of extra sanding belt. I don't have a belt sander.
I have this habit of when anyone in real life says, "Oh, hey, I love your costume," my instinct is automatically like, "It's trash." So these are not quote unquote working Escrima sticks. And to be honest, they are not the world's best prop. Sometimes it's okay just to do X% of a costume. Or if your costume is only a certain good enough level, whatever that means. Sometimes just part of the prop or an incomplete prop or a bad prop or whatever can still just make the costume. This was a fun little side project that I was going to take to Fan Expo Chicago, but TSA's guidelines on what you can take is very vague when it comes to quote unquote weapon. Well, these would hurt if you hit someone in the head with them.
This is a good example of why I don't have clothes on. I just got out of the shower and I wanted to start working. So I put pants on where the Escrima stick is. I think it's the length that it needs to be. No, it needs to be a little shorter.
Here to here is basically one material. The top is another material. And the middle part is part of a kayak paddle. This was initially one paddle, and I really wanted this to all be one piece, but I ended up using a couple different materials to make the sort of grip for everything. While this isn't the most impressive costume, I guess just one thing to say is, it's okay if something's not functional. You don't have to have a replica that's perfect in any capacity whatsoever. I know that these three parts are bottle cap. I used a little bit of Warbler, and there's some clay foam, and just kind of this material I only added on there. I really just needed to add diameter to the handle so that it was more comfortable to grip.
Is that when you're working with a lot of different textures, you need them to be the same. So if you're ever going to paint on top of it, it looks uniform. We have like 6 different textures here. I guess the moral of the story is find more kayak paddles.
And sometimes you're just kind of proud of something. These don't really have to be spectacular. You really just have to look at what the main parts of it are. Breaking down the Escrima stick, it's basically just a stick. You know what's brown and sticky? A stick. To be honest, you could get away if this was all the same diameter, so that's not really the important part. The only other part of note is the slight different coloration. You could literally take a wooden dowel and just paint it black and then with blue stripes, and people would be like, "Oh, it's Nightwing's Escrima stick." It really doesn't matter how good your prop is, as long as the execution is good enough, whatever capacity that means. So technically this is like a swimsuit variant, but really the Cyclops variant that I did last summer, the main part of it is really just his goggles. Like, that's it. It's Cyclops. It could be Cyclops wearing street clothes. Slight enhancements would be a change in diameter. So at the top, you can see the bottle caps are going to be a thicker diameter than the blue part underneath. Since this was hollow, making sure that the ends are not hollow, since the sticks are not hollow, are some additional improvements. A good example is if you want to do something like Batman and you want to do a variety of his gadgets and things like that, you could probably just get away with one Batarang and be like, "I did prop." It doesn't have to be a functioning utility belt or something pretty extreme. Sure, there are going to be nicer tutorials out there that you could do some really nice things, but stripping this down to the most simplistic process, we have black and blue, and then you can keep adding one more additional part to make it slightly better each time. I'd say for virtually all costumes, this is going to be good enough. I mean, yeah, there are going to be nicer Escrima sticks out there, but this is actually kind of cool now that I think about it.
This is kind of what it looks like right now. Yeah, some of the veneer on top and bottom, I'm probably going to be using a little bit of Warbler. I really like using Warbler kind of as a emergency thing, but look, soda can.
It's also relatively lightweight. It's relatively easy to travel with too. Pretty compact. In terms of making your own Escrima sticks at home, if you can get something that is long, and for making this at home, just whatever long diameter thing that you have that's about this length, you can cut things, and about this diameter once you start adding on other things like caps or even like foam clay at the bottom just to enhance it. Those things enhance it a lot, even if you think that it's going to be pretty simplistic. If I saw these photos and it was, I don't know, just literally a wooden dowel that was painted.
I just wasted too much tennis grip. I have these technically elastic bands that went in back of a computer chair. It's the same computer chair. Okay, a lot of stuff just fell.
I wouldn't bat an eye. Be like, those are the Escrima sticks. That's fine. At the end of it, it's going to be one of the easiest props that you can make with trash because it's just a stick. There really isn't any prop that you can't make. Even if you don't have great materials and you are not the best at crafting, most props can be made in a budget, bad, inexperienced way, and they're still insanely recognizable. Going back to the Batman example, you could literally cut a Batarang out of cardboard and paint it black.
If you're wondering what some of the music I listen to when I'm crafting is kazoo cover of a Kirby song.
If there's part of a prop or part of a costume that is holding you back from making that costume, but you can do everything else, it's fine to make a less than optimal, less than perfect, simplistic version of it, and it's going to look great. I promise. Even if something doesn't turn out perfect, you could always improve on it a little bit. Or even in photos, you can just hide the bad parts. We're not trying to trick people here into thinking that we're master craftsmen. We're just trying to enjoy cosplay. And helps me continue to do this. As always, I love feedback, unless feedback is you're a stinky poo-poo head. I don't like that feedback. Don't tell me that. And if you do as a joke, it's not that funny. My mom loves The Greatest Showman. Oh, the ketchup fell. Wait, it was my birthday, and I was like, I mean, you might as well buy me a 3DS. That doesn't help describe it. I'm Sean Connery. I feel like a lot of moms really like The Greatest Showman. And I am wearing shoes on my bed because I'm an adult. What is this? And a 1, and a 2, and a 1, 2. Now who's the horse?
Someone said I was butch, and I was like, I'm not a lesbian. And turns out that's just kind of a term that some people use in place of masculine. I'm learning, okay?
It's like that game from Pokemon Stadium. Inchworms don't move like this. You know, with the pincers and the scythers, and it's like, I don't know what like Momcore is, but apparently The Greatest Showman is. Ooh, it was like a Scooby-Doo plane.
You know, corn don't grow it all on Rocky Bottom. The birds to Rocky Bottom.
Put a finger down if your mom loves The Greatest Showman. I've never completed a Nuzlocke challenge. Speaking from personal experience, yes, I did learn to juggle to impress someone in college.
Top implies the existence of Rocky Bottom.
Did I get a date out of it? No. Did I learn to juggle? Yes. I only have one mom.
Whopper, 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 double, triple, Whopper, taste.
Aren't we all just inchworms in the grand scheme of life?
Yes, I am the type of person to take food out of an oven and be confused as I'm eating it that it's hot.